quit your job and build a 50 million naira net worth. Everyone on the internet is telling you to quit your job, to start a business, to jackpot if you want to be rich. But I did the opposite. I stayed in my 9 to 5, worked my way up to the deputy manager, and built a 50 million naira net worth here in Nigeria. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you the roadmap in which I used to achieve this, especially for Nigerians who love their careers or who want to stay in Nigeria without having to jackpot. Remember that video I made where I talked about how I progressed in my career and basically told you guys everything I'm doing or how I built my 50 million naira net worth? If there's anything I learned from growing in my career, growing as a person, and especially in my finances, it is that your salary is your seed. It is your you should see your salary as your venture capital, like not just something you need for maybe your house rent and your wants and every other thing, but you should see it as something that you can use to build your portfolio, because that was what I did. At some point, go and check out that video. It will give you better context as to what you are talking about here, because I was able to do this because I created systems around my money. I learned early on in my days that I just don't want to be working and living paycheck to paycheck. I wanted my money to work for me, and especially I wanted to be rich. So what can I do to help me get rich? That was where I found out that okay, my salary can actually help me to or at least give me a push to achieve what I want to achieve, because I don't have another job aside from my salary. It is only now coming up to this point in my life where I'm now trying to build other sources of income, and I found out that investing in different places is also considered another job. So instead of me just focusing on trying to be getting jobs here, because that in Nigeria there's no way you can survive with one job, and especially knowing that your salary alone can never make you rich. So what system can you create around your job that can help you to build that portfolio that you want for yourself, or to help you get to that place where you can be saying you have a 50 million naira net worth here in Nigeria, where many people are still considering jackpotting. Many people think that starting a business is their roadmap to becoming rich. Before we go on to the rest of the video, I want to start this thing where I have like this sort of commercial break where I talk about anything that I don't necessarily talk about in my videos, because obviously I am not a vlogging channel. I don't really vlog, even though I love to, but I feel like most people come to my channel for finance, so they tend to not watch vlogs, at least for the times I've done that. The only videos that I see doing very well are the travel ones and all, but it's not every day that I travel. I'm trying to build financial freedom, so I can't be traveling every day. So this channel is mostly focused on finance. But one thing that I find that is limiting me or that stresses me out is the fact that I always sound like a teacher, of which I'm not a teacher. I'm just a girl that wants to share everything she's learning on her journey. So sometimes I feel like the packaging makes it sound as if I'm teaching you guys, but I want you to think otherwise, because I just want to be telling you the stories of my life that has helped me to achieve whatever it is I have achieved so far. And another thing, guys, as you can see, I've changed my background several times. This current background now is the one I'm testing out to see if I really love it. I've changed from this point to this point to this point now that I am. If you've been watching my videos, tell me which one you prefer. Do you prefer the coffee background that has the books, the machines and all that? Do you prefer just these 3 Pinterest inspired frames at my back, or do you prefer the one I did in my last video that was having the think outside the box? I don't know. I renovated my house recently, so I've been trying to see which parts fits my videos more. I'm liking this one though, but lighting is an issue because now I have to be moving the lights because it is reflecting on the glass. But guys, this is what I've been thinking about lately, so I'll try to be incorporating this in my videos so that we can get to know each other, because I feel like my videos are just too strict, as if I'm teaching you something, and I don't want it to be like that. Trust me, I'm just a girl. I'm just learning and I'm just sharing everything with you. Now let's get right back into the video, but before that, make sure to click that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's go. Now let's address the elephant in the room, and this is especially for Nigerians who want to stay in their careers, who don't want to leave Nigeria. One thing that is killing many of us, that is not helping us to achieve our financial goals, is the fact that we tend to inflate our lifestyle once we have any percentage of increase in our salary. Take myself for example now. I went from an assistant manager to a deputy manager, right? A typical Nigerian, and this is no shade, but mostly the guys will start thinking of how they will need to buy a new car, how they will need to move from the mainland to the island where it is happening, and then you find that you just start inflating everything in your life. At the end of the day, you are basically still earning as an assistant manager, because now your increase to the deputy manager is no longer showing you. And this is what is stopping many of us from achieving our financial goals. One thing I always do is, even when I have been promoted 3 times now in my job, I have never suddenly increased my lifestyle, or I have never increased it. Instead, I'm even increasing the percentage in which I used to split my salary. You know, in one of my videos I talked about how I started with using the 50-30-20 rule. You know, 50% for my needs, 30% for my wants, and 20% for savings and investments. But over time, got to find out that, you know, as my salary was progressing, I needed to make a change. And this change, instead of reducing it, or maybe instead of saying I'm going to be staying in 50-30-20 because it is still working for me, I decided to adjust it to having 40% for my needs, 45% for my investments and savings, and 15% for my wants. Interestingly, I found out that I'm still living exactly like, you know, I used to live. I'm still comfortable. I can still travel. Imagine that maybe because now I'm a deputy manager, I now all of a sudden decided to change out my Toyota Corolla 2011 that has been working for me from the road from when I was a senior supervisor. I will now decide to just change it. At that point, you just find out that your pocket is depleting, but then you are answering big name. You are a big madam with no money in your pocket. Now that you know that for you to be able to achieve whatever financial goal you must have set for yourself, that you need to avoid lifestyle inflation, especially a sharp one. Now, how do you grow in your career, as maybe whatever you are currently and you want to go to the next point in your career? What can you offer your company that will make you indispensable in that your company? What can you add to the company that will make them see that you are the most valuable person? For me, this is completely different, so I can only advise you on what has happened in my life. But I know that in Nigeria there are different ways companies promote, and you know how it happens. For me, I work in an organization whereby for you to get promoted, you need to write an exam. And this is sure to happen for you every 3 years. Every staff is expected to write an exam where you get a broad exam of basically the economy of Nigeria. I talked about this at some point in my TikTok. I basically took my followers through that journey, and it was the most stressful journey ever. But the fact that, you know, I have been lucky and God bless to be able to pass every single time I've written this exam, because I've written it for 3 times now and I've been promoted consecutively as I write the exams. And most companies in Nigeria are basically looking for the value you are going to be adding to their company. If you are one that you know you can add something, what courses are you taking, what are you doing that is not typical in your company, try and get that so that you can be valuable. Even though you are not even, maybe your company is not appreciating whatever value you are adding, you can use this your skill on the side to be earning you extra money. All that matters is that we are building ourselves up to be able to build a network that we want for ourselves. We want to be able to travel, we want to be able to afford the things that we want without having to be stressing and basically cutting down every single thing you like because you're trying to build wealth. Wealth building should not be as hard as Nigeria makes it to be, but we have found ourselves here, so we have to make it work. Just try and build your skill up to the point where you can be valuable wherever you put your leg in. Another thing is that most people think that for you to be able to achieve whatever financial goal you have set for yourself, you need multiple side hustles. Guys, for me, I don't know if I can do it. Only this one job that I do, I feel like I need more time at home. So for the past 2 weeks now, I've been on annual leave and I've been at home. And if I tell you how I feel like, can we just start remote working? Just imagine now adding another job to that particular stress I'm talking about. What if I can start investing religiously without having to be having another job, 3, 4, 5 jobs? That is the path I chose. I've created systems around my money in such a way that it is working for me while I'm sleeping, so I don't have to be stressing about me wanting to take on another job. Trust me, I know that this also means that you need to have a high-paying job in the first place, because you need to be able to take care of your needs, your wants, and every other thing, and while saving at the same time, investing religiously like I talked about. So it's not a surprise that you need a well-paying job for you to be able to achieve this. You should always think of your job as something that funds your life, while your investment funds your freedom. because most of the travel you see me do on this page, or the ones I've shared so far, it is from investing. The money I get from the investment I've done over time, that is what I'm able to use to travel. This my 50 million naira net worth did not come overnight. It came from building systems and systems over time, and I did not just focus on saving, investing. I made sure to have a balance between living life, traveling, which is something I love, drinking the coffee that I love, while also chasing wealth. So that is all you need to know when it comes to trying to build a 50 million net worth here in Nigeria as a 9-to-5er. You don't need to japa. You can start a business if it is a passion, if it is something you love, not just because it is the only way you can be able to build wealth. Yes, businesses in Nigeria are very good place or very good source to build wealth, but if you are one that does not know anything about being a business, not everybody can be an entrepreneur. How can you now use your salary to help you to build wealth? That is what we are talking about in this video, and that is what you should take as a verdict from this video. Use your salary to build that life you want. Now, to round up this video, I would love my 9-to-5ers to comment in the comment section. What industry do you work in currently? Are you enjoying your job, or are you just seeing it as a way to pass time, or you can't jackpot, so you now feel like you are just stuck in the job? I would love to hear from you, because for me right now, I'm so grateful that I love my job. I have traveled so well, so I know what's outside Nigeria. I'm going to be making another video where we talk about why I decided to stay in Nigeria and build this my 50 million naira net worth rather than jackpotting, because it would have been very possible for me to jackpot, especially being that I lived in the UK for some time. I did my masters there, so I know what I'm talking about. So watch out for that video. But for now, make sure to click that like button, subscribe to the channel, join this family for all the financial tips, and I'll see you guys in my next one.